swimsuits are exclusively crafted from recycled ocean plastic using cutting-edge technology like Reprieve. Each piece pulls out approximately 29 plastic bottles, contributing to a cleaner planet. They exclusively craft with Reprieve, transforming yesterday's plastic bottles into today's sustainable swimwear. And taking the conversation forward with Ria is Miss Anu Jain, the HOD of the Department of Fashion and Lifestyle. So please join me in welcoming Ms. Ria Majumdar and Ms. Anu Jain on stage. I request Professor Paresh Chatterjee from the Department of Fashion and Lifestyle to please come up and felicitate our guest. Thank you, Paresh sir, and over to you, Ria and Anu.
Hello. Yeah. So I'm sure everybody's excited. We've got a lot of cool breeze from Goa over here for you all. So we have Ria Majumdar with us. So very, very warm welcome to you. Though I know Ahmedabad, it's a warm weather, but I think the room is pleasant enough. So warm welcome to UID, to Karnavati University, and it's a pleasure for us to have you with us over here. So yeah, let's just start the session. We all are excited to hear, you talk about sustainability, you have a swimwear brand, lot of sexiness around. So yeah, so how did you start this journey, and how did you bring in sustainability into such a, sexy costume, yeah. Such a glamorous product, clothing product, so yeah.
Great. First of all, I have to say, best job in the world. My job is to be surrounded by beautiful women in bare minimum clothes. What better could life be? And these are clothes that are worn on the outside instead of the inside. So best job in the world. But since I'm speaking to a fraternity of college students and I'm speaking to a fraternity of design students, I think all of us know that fashion is the second most polluting industry in the world after big oil. What we create as landfills for fashion and the amount of wastage that happens for fashion is second to none. It's actually number 2 in the world. So when in 2022, I found myself in COVID, in Goa, around so much water. And let's face it, India's top 5% had the privilege to take flights and get into Goa. We were around around so much water, and none of us had good products to wear. Why? Because most of us, whoever likes to swim or is interested in that recreational activity, is usually buying products internationally, right? So that got me thinking, why isn't there somebody doing this category in India? If I were to ask this session over here, how many of you own swimsuits? Hands. That's literally what? 15% of the room? Lovely. All of you swim? All of you are swimmers. Good to know, good to know. Great. So, do you know 98% Indians don't swim? And so, if I were to give you just stats, Amazon does about 56% of its sale as apparel. 0.1% of that segment is swim, right? So, in 2022, it was one enormously intelligent decision to say, let's enter this category and try and make a difference, right? That's part 1 of it. Part 2 of it is the sustainability story. Again, I'll ask questions. When you today think sustainability in fashion, what comes to mind? Anybody? When you think sustainability, what comes to mind? Upcycling is sustainability, okay? Material, good. When you say material, what kind of material do you say? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Correct. So this is exactly the research that I dug into, saying what is happening in the world around sustainable fabrics, right? We talk about organic cotton. Reality ये है कि cotton में 10 bucket पानी जाता है, organic cotton में शायद 7, right? Who are we kidding? However, some smart blokes sitting in the US 30 years back started doing something very cool. They started putting a community in and around US coastlines, and they would collect plastic bottles from the ocean. This is a company called Unify. It's 30 years old. It's the largest fabric manufacturer in US. This recycled plastic bottles is now being converted into fabric, which is called Reprieve, right? And this, because it is made from plastic bottles, is one of the most intelligent fabrics that you will find, fibers that you would find in the world. Why? Because it's indestructible. Plastic doesn't destruct, neither does this fabric, right? So that was my first go-to. The second go-to was a fabric that comes out of, do you guys know this, right? Do you guys know Reprieve? Do you guys know Econile? Do you study this? Have you studied this? Have you heard of this? Yes? No?
Not really. I think not all the students are from fashion. Plus, yeah. So plus again, these recyclable fabrics which are used more in the industry, because they are not easily available to the students, you know, for their working, it does become little difficult for them to understand, you know, what it is, how to use it. So only if you have industry connect can you, you know, take it forward. So I think this is also, it's a good idea where the industry who has this technology, and you know, if they collaborate with the academics, so I think that growth would be really marvelous, which can take forward this whole thing of sustainability. The concept of sustainability can actually be brought in the working of the system.
Correct. So then thereby, just for general information, there are two companies, one out of Italy, one out of US. One does fashion landfills, fishing nets and all of that, converting it into fabric. It's called Econile. And the other thing is converting recycled plastic bottles, right? And I thought plastic bottles recovered from the ocean, since we are all going back into the ocean wearing the product, would be the best product to choose for my product range. And that is how the birth of Goya Swim Company happened. I'm very, very pleased to I'm pleased to say that we are India's only certified swimwear company wherein the raw material is ocean plastic, and I manufacture out of a global recycling standard certified factory, making the end product fully certified sustainable.
Wonderful. I
Story
think that's
morning
very
glory.
commendable. Congratulations on achieving that much, because I think even to build a brand which is sustainable, you know, which is eco-friendly, and when you are connecting it with the commercial aspect, it does take a lot of hard work to bring it together. So, you know, how do you put that together where sustainability and commercials can be taken forward together?
It's actually a problem area, because everything that you do in sustainability is almost 30 to 40% more expensive than regular fabric. It is, I think the role is of an educator today, right? This is the generation that has to care the most. My generation didn't. We were very interested in wearing a different t-shirt every day, a different set of shoes every day, and we contributed to waste. Vis-a-vis, I'm so glad that today's generation realizes the kachra that we guys have created has to be solved by you guys, right? So you pay attention to sustainability, you care enough, but do you have the ability to, do you have the desire? So if I were to again ask a question, if somebody told you that something that you're purchasing is sustainable, doesn't matter, it could be a shirt, could be a pair of shoes, could be a bag that you're buying, but you're paying 40% more than The non-sustainable. Would you? Show of hands again. 1 person, 2 person, 3 person. See, so 4 person. So today we are, yeah, please. Hundred percent, 100%. But all of these elements are fighting with a category called fast fashion, right? Where I am churning a new design every 15 days, right? Because I desire to look different every day, right? We are fighting this education right now.
Absolutely. So, okay, so now coming to another part, we spoke about, like, I said swimwear is very glamorous, okay, so it's sexy, glamorous. So, but there is a cultural context to it. How many people, I mean, they talk about it being glamorous, but how many people in India are receptive to it? You know, there is male gaze, there is, the society restrictions and constraints. Of course, there are religion restrictions and constraints. I'm not saying that should it be or shouldn't it be, but how do you deal with that, the cultural context coming in with the swimwear?
Honest to God, I'm having a well, let's say I'm having a hard time, but it is the reality in India. If I were to go to a public swimming pool, even in Bombay, right, I would feel awkward wearing one of my designs. I would want to put out those long suits but look at how we dress today. Look at how I'm dressed. Like even 6 years back, I think I would have worn a jacket. I chose not to. I'm very glad to see most of the people in the audience are dressed like me, right? So we are changing, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Also I've realized we're today talking to a generation of women who are talking about body positivity unlike never before. What is that one garment? What is that one garment that would put that in focus, right? You could wear a great skirt, you could wear a lovely sari, you could wear something lehenga, you'll never wear your lingerie on the outside. But you wear a swimsuit, take a picture, put it up on Instagram, disproportionate amount of attention. It's good attention. It's not bad attention. It's good attention. So,
yeah, absolutely. So coming again to, people talking about body and, they are also rejecting this whole body shaming concept. So where do you see the clients, with different body shapes as swimwear consumers or customers of yours?
see, as the design aspect of it, one of the hardest things that I have to solve is saying what I design for a size small should look identical as design for size XXL, right? I cannot have a category which says, oh, this is designs for small girls and small size girls, and these are designs which are slightly fatter straps, maybe a little, extra coverage on the legs and all of that. This is the hardest design problem that I solve. The second thing I've realized is the plus size girls, make the most amount of noise. They talk the most about not being represented. So I will get the most amount of gullies on my Instagram, okay, saying, hey, it's 2023 and you don't seem to have a, triple XL girl represented. And I was like, honey, I make triple XL sizes. Are you buying it? No, you're not. So I think my job is to say, I am treating you with the same lens. I think you are beautiful. I design the same thing that I will design for a small size girls. The adoption of it is something I cannot force, right?
Definitely. I think it is a difficult category of clothing, and to be able to stand up for it, bringing in sustainability, bringing in plus sizes and working towards it. it's an amazing
The,
effort.
the
so
truth,
kudos to
truth
you.
on
Yeah.
data also points in the same direction. The Indian lingerie business has grown, what, 4x? This is, I'm stating numbers from a year and a half back. Only because the industry started catering to stylish designs for plus size girls. Now we are saying in the swimwear business, we are also doing the exact same thing. Please, please wear them.
Okay, so I would like to ask, which is your bigger market, the domestic, the Indian market, or the international? Which do you feel, you know, that is really buying your product, and how is India behaving with your product?
Oh, my days. When I started doing this, nobody told me कि these सारे तोते उड़ने वाले हैं. So, okay, so when I started designing, I designed, because I was based in Goa, I decided to start a swimwear company because of my love for Goa and all of that. I was pretty aware of what the target population of Goa is. We are split right in the middle. We have Indians living over there, and we have a large portion of international people. There was a large chunk of, still large chunk of Russians, still large chunk of Israelis, let's say, and now a host of other people are coming in. So I split my designs right in the middle. If you go check my design sensibilities out, there is some really super skanky, sexy stuff. And there is something which is, in my definition, is kind of high coverage. India only purchases high coverage. The funny thing is, I made this red velvet bikini because why not? It has taken a year and then Ananya Pandey to wear it on the poster of a movie called Kho Gaye Hum Kahan? Kho Gaye Hum Nahi? Kho Gaye Hum Kahan? For that product to make some movement. Otherwise, no. It was just sitting pretty on my website. So,
Congratulations on that achievement. You know, I
No,
think,
thank you.
yeah, because even media, even in Bollywood industry or film industry, people are talking about, you know, all these things and coming up, and when they promote, definitely the masses welcome it, and they also accept it in their lifestyle. So I think a big round
I
of
would wish
applause.
far more women would like to, you know, seduce their boyfriends by wearing, or not seduce their boyfriends. What was the word? She was trying to, what's the word? Yeah, somebody give it to me. Trying to get, please, right? She was basically trying to say, hey, look what good goods you've missed out on, basically, right? Create FOMO. I wish far more women do the same thing. Create FOMO by wearing some red velvet.
Yeah, so I think that really calls for a big round of applause, you know, for that big achievement of really breaking the barriers. So kudos to you.
Sure.
Another thing that we'd like to touch upon is you've spoken about how swimming is important for health, and that's why you were, like, this was our conversation,
Correct.
you know, a couple of days ago, where you brought in the health factor, how important it is to you, and maybe was it the reason behind getting into swimwear?
Actually, you know, what I would like to, what I told you was if I come out of this session getting 4 more people interested in taking up swimming, that would be a greater job solved, right? If all of us pay, I was sitting in the lounge behind and I asked, does this campus have a good sporting facility? They were like, yes, we have basketball and we have badminton and we have few other things. I was like, do you guys have a pool? No, we don't. So, you know, I wish it is included, not doctorated, included in our college curriculums, in our schooling curriculums. Swim as an activity to give boost to this entire industry. Abhi pata kya hai? Abhi, it's everybody who's wanting to be an influencer saying, hey, can I do a collaboration with you? For her also, it is taking a nice picture outside of the pool. I'm like, please swim. Please swim. There is nothing better.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think before we go on to, you know, the questions from the audience,
Sure.
yeah, I would like to ask you, how do you bring fashion, sustainability, health, culture, everything together if you have to sum it up all together in your brand? So what would you want to say about it? as like the last thoughts for this session for students to take away something, how they can bring all these elements which are so important in today's time.
Okay, the first thing I think I would like to say is some of us, not all of us, some of us have to look at the waste that we are producing as a race, as a species, and try and do intelligent things with that waste. Make waste beautiful. This is my first core purpose. Make things that are going into waste, which will go into dump. What is it that we can do to utilize that? That's part A. Part B, A is promote a okay, I don't want to use this word. Promote something called as slow fashion, right? Buy one garment and make it work harder for you. If I could create a let's say something like a tube top that I'm wearing, which you could wear to the gym, which you could wear while you're doing yoga, which you could wear to a coffee date, and maybe go and have dinner with friends, that is making a singular garment work harder. If we could create products that do that, encourage people saying, hey, not only is this sustainable, yes, unfortunately it is the case that it is 30% more premium than everything else, but you know what? It works harder for you. If we could start creating a cultural movement towards this slow fashion category and not fast fashion, slow fashion down, right? It should be okay that I'm seen in the same clothes on every third day. It is okay, right?
Absolutely.
That is the thing that needs the most amount of promotion, I suppose.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think very wise words, for students to take, and especially for designers, fashion designers, what they need to really look at in the coming future, keeping in mind the environment degradation that's happening. We all need to really think hard.
Yes.
And find solutions, and congratulations to you for taking that first step, and
yes, and I'm hoping more like me, many more like me come up. That is what the requirement of the day is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Now I would like to open the session to the students and the audience. If they have any questions that I have missed out on,
sure.
And they would want to ask any queries about swimwear, about
Hi.
thank you so much.
My name is Sakshi.
Hi, Sakshi.
Lovely how I love your vibe. I love your aura. I love your concept. I love how you have taken ahead the sustainability and the slow fashion and body positivity. Love the theme. But there's still gap in the market. As you mentioned that the sustainable products are 40% more costly than any other product that is available in the market. If we funnel it down to the Indian market, especially where we have a lot of cheaper products, people would of course go for those products. And the motive we have to introduce the sustainable products in the market, if it is not being supplied to the majority of the people, I feel that is somewhere we are lacking behind the motive of introducing sustainable products at the end of the day. How do you really look forward to make it available to more of the population rather than just minor population?
Sakshi, thank you. I'm going to lead with a story. So if you ask ChatGPT, where is it that I can go in the entire world to sell swimwear, ChatGPT will say, start with 5 exhibitions in this world, okay? 4 exhibitions happen in Miami, 1 happens in Paris. It's called Interfelier Paris / Curve Paris. I'm guessing a few brands out of India must have sent up, and it's an application-based exhibition, okay? I was there last year. 200 of European brands, 200 European brands, swimwear brands were exhibiting. I was one of 4 sustainable brands. One of 4 sustainable brands. This is the European market. This is the most mature market. This is the market that has created the norms for sustainability. When factories get something called as the Global Recycling Standard certification, these norms are created in the EU, right? and they don't have brands, legacy brands. These are brands that have been, because of course these brands are from the 1960s, they don't have sustainability. They have not been able to move their manufacturer and break ties with their eons old relationships with their fabric vendors, right? To move into sustainability. So it is really up to the new lot of us, right? The new startups, the new companies, the new brands, to make this our first agenda. Educate. If I buy, let's say, again, my thingy is slow fashion. If I could purchase one product, and that is something that I can gift my granddaughter, the same way that a Banarasi sari is gifted, a grandma would gift, ye maine apni shaadi ke time pe pehna tha, right? If we could create that same thing, a pair of sneakers, if I could gift it to my, son, that is what all people who are creating products, all brands that are creating should make it their purpose, right? And it is up to you guys, for the audience, like at one point that I can do the education, but it also has to be a lot to do with your desire, right? How do I change your desire? Do you guys care enough? You guys are dealing with a quandary of things. There's so much social pressure to look sexy in the morning and exciting in the evening, right? So it's a tough rope to walk. It's a hard rope to walk.
Yeah, I think, but if we start step by step, if people decide, if the new generation, the new league of designers,
Yes.
they decide and they even make, small efforts, I'm sure we'll be able to reach somewhere sooner.
Sure. Funny story. When you're in business, you're like, okay, the government is giving many grants to people in the space of sustainability. So I applied for a government grant, right? And I had to do a presentation. Lovely old gents, a few old ladies, and here I am asking for the government of India to give me a grant because, hey, I'm one of the few sustainable players in the country. And it's my presentation. It's good-looking girls wearing really sexy products, right? The level of embarrassment, they were like, I had a 15-minute slot. They couldn't get me to stop faster than possible, right? It was too funny. So yeah.
But did you manage to get the...
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. They're like, nahi, this is not power enough.
Great, wonderful. Anybody else? Thank you so much. Yeah, Anika.
Good morning, ma'am. This is Anika Maheshwari. So, this is Anika.
Anika.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, my question is, as you said that your consumers are Indian and other than Indians also. So, now Indian body is very different from the foreign body, right? Or any other body type.
No, darling, your body is no different from all the girls I saw in, let's say, Europe. America, to bhul jao. 60% of their population is obese.
No,
Okay.
I just wanted to say
Please.
that the Indian body type is a little different
Sure.
than the other, like Israelis or Russians that you said.
Yes.
So according to what body type do you make your designs?
Yours. But then yes, 100% I'm designing as per, good question. If I ask you to name a swim brand in this country, who do you know? Ye dekho. Oof. Nice. 26,000 rupees swimsuits, by the way.
Though we all started, when Speedo used to be
There
the
you go,
only
Speedo.
brand, for swim.
So when I started, I templatized, because let's say when I was buying swimsuits, I didn't know where else to. If I was not buying international brands online, I used to go to Marks and Spencer, okay? And I realized, and while I look like this, my younger sister is 100 kgs, okay? So both of us used to go to Marks and Spencer's, and for years together, I realized they had somehow gotten the sizing right for India, right? So I templatized them. So let's say that. Yeah, but it's been a year and a half long journey, and every fourth day I realized there are mistakes and things that I did not consider, right? So every time that I design a new collection, I do checks, right, for all the mistakes that were made in the past collection. I thought legs, and for example, I thought legs and hip cuts would be a big issue, right? Usually if you buy, let's say, standard swim in this country, aapke hips yahan pe katte hain. If you look at mine, they're slightly high rise. I thought that will be a problem. It didn't turn out to be a problem. What turned out to be a problem was everything to do with busts, right? We are very booby in this country. Did not pay this much attention to girls before. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, hi.
You and I are dressed alike.
Yeah, hi, I'm Darsh. What I wanted to ask is, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you started out, there were not as many sustainable brands or that used recycled plastic, right? So
None.
Yeah. So how did you go about the manufacturing process, and how did you tackle that situation? Especially because there wouldn't have been as many, or as you said, none.
It took me 8 months of R&D. 8 months of R&D. Obviously, I wanted to manufacture in India. When I created the brand, we were in COVID. I couldn't have gone or done anything. I couldn't have gone to factories. I couldn't have touched and felt the fabric, right? So I tried so hard to do this out of India, and I realized, where is the manufacturing of this fabric, by the way, that happens in India? Let me not throw numbers. Most of it is Surat, okay? Or Jalandhar, which creates the polyester, which let's say Speedo uses, let's say the other swim brands use. So I did not have a choice but to go abroad. I went to Sri Lanka, and when I say I went to Sri Lanka, it's basically calling for samples from there. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Brazil, and finally I realized it's US, and the fabric is licensed into China. So that's where I'm getting it manufactured out of.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but it was hard. It was really, really hard. We don't care enough. We want to care. And I keep throwing these numbers, okay? I read this report when I started, right? It said 82% of Gen Z, if they knew, and Gen Z is you guys, right? If they knew this is sustainable, they would prefer it, right? So there is a preference, right? Somewhere in the back of your mind. Does my mother care? Not at all. Do I care? Rubbish. I don't. Like before I became an activist, let's say. But you guys definitely care. You guys actually have the information. You realize that it is genuinely good for you, good for the planet. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question. We are talking about sustainability. We're talking about the brands who are moving into sustainability. Now, I would like to ask that how do you deal with so much of trust issues and the greenwashing, that is happening, and every brand is calling itself sustainable. So how do you deal with it?
I wish I had the marketing budgets to outshout them. But it is actually phenomenal, the greenwashing that is happening, right? Even today, a well-established brand, and I don't want to drop names, okay? They will get one element fixed. Let's say they would get fair wages fixed. Like, we are not doing child labor. They will call themselves sustainable. The greatest print ads will go out. The greatest television campaigns would be launched. Social media would be spamming, saying that, holy moly, we have now launched a sustainable range. Rubbish. It's such hogwash, it's not even funny. But, unfortunately, young brands like me don't have the budgets to outshout them. Or
Not
even
outshout, but even, like, because there are trust issues happening because of greenwashing. So how do you protect yourself from that? Or, you know, when are people able to trust, or what do they really, you know, look for to avoid that mistrust, or, you know, or to, you know, rely on your brand for that, yeah, it is a sustainable brand?
I have realized, again, because this, and I will put two markets in focus because I spent some time in Europe and I realized there, they will actually purchase your brand over something else because it's sustainable. In India, it's, let's say for over 20 weeks, I put up a pop-up in Goa, okay? It's called the Friday Night Market. If you ever come to Goa, Friday night, you're for sure going to arrive at that market because there are 100 stalls, music, this and that, and it's like an entertainment evening to do, and about 100 independent designers out of Goa stand there. And I am meeting guests from all over the world, plus India, right? To the Indian, it's like, oh, I love your design. Oh, it's also sustainable. Good to have. Vis-a-vis, for the international tourist, it's like, shit, are you kidding me? This is recycled ocean plastic. Zarurat bhi nahi hai, I will purchase it. You know, it's there right now, but this was not really your question. How do I tackle it? I have, the reality is in India, I haven't really needed to tackle it.
What I'm trying to say, do you put a tag or, you know, some
Yes.
information
Yes.
that says that
Yes, yes.
it's a
yes.
certified garment?
Yes,
you know, it's certified.
absolutely.
Right.
All garments come with, the clothing tag mentions it.
Right, right. Yeah. Thank you so much.
But kaun dekhta hai usko? Please. Unfortunately not. This is currently coming out. See, the company is called Reprieve, and Reprieve, or rather the brand is called Reprieve, and Reprieve today holds the Okio-Tex. This is a fashion, this is the highest rating agency in fashion. Okio-Tex has rewarded them the #1 recycled ocean plastic. They started in the US, but right now they have a community outreach program which is all parts of the world. So, are they coming and collecting out of India? I don't know, but they have moved out of their core, let's say, American shorelines to outside as well. 28 billion plastic bottles. They keep on their website, you can actually see a meter running.
Wow.
28 billion plastic bottles have been pulled out. So if you pick up a Goya swimsuit, that's literally 29 plastic bottles that you're wearing on your body. Boys and girls, by the way. It's not just girls that I'm catering to. I also do a men's collection.
Great, wonderful. So I think we'll wind up the session now because we also have a workshop with Ria tomorrow.
Sure.
So
yes.
yeah, you can.
How many
you know,
design
check the
students in
schedule.
this batch?
All are design students.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good. Cool, cool. We shall design some swimsuits tomorrow.
Absolutely. So I hope you all attended. I think this was a good understanding for you all, you know, that how you can take sustainability forward. Because, yeah, we talk a lot about sustainability, but not many are doing much about it, you know.
I'd actually love to ask questions the other way around, if I could ask questions. Do you teach sustainability as a course curriculum over here?
We do, we do.
And when
We
you teach
do-
sustainability, what are the core line items that you guys talk about?
See, we do currently, it's a lot about, you know, everybody again tackles it in a very different way. I don't think so everybody is able to, in academics, include all the parameters that are related to sustainability, whether it is the materials, whether it's, you know, the supply chain, you know, because everything matters. It's not that, you know, you can only, like you said, just the fair wages. Of course, the fair wages don't really come in over here, but they do the labor themselves, kind of, when they're making the product. We have a craft center over here where the artisans come and they teach, and the students do things by themselves. Currently, we are also having a lot of workshops which are skill based. So we do train students, to go into the root of the design or the craft and understand it, understand the materials, which are the natural materials that they can use. We do a lot of in textiles, we do eco textile printing as well. And there's a lot of modules which are taken with recycling and upcycling, where you're not throwing away your old garments, but how you're upcycling or reusing it, repurposing it. So we do bring in all those elements. Of course, it's not like everything is covered in one module, but it's almost like an underlying, that concept that they need to inculcate in their design practices. And, but of course, there are too many distractions as well. And also, they see a lot of things, they want to make things like that, and they do end up, because they are right now trying, to make things. They are exploring currently to develop new designs. So they do end up using more material, extra material.
Why I ask this question is because there are two companies in India. One is called Banofi. This is a young Indian Yale graduate who is using banana tree waste. जिसका ज़्यादा चीज़ें waste नहीं होता है, हम सब खा जाते हैं. But and she's converting it into leather. Okay, it's amazing stuff. Correct, and there is a I forget his company's his brand name, but he's converting waste rubber tires into reusable material that is getting used in shoes, men's wear, and all of that, right? So if we could encourage more of this, like I would love to create a line that is using. For sure. Right, of course, all of those practices, but if the innovation in converting waste into something fabulous, right? If that could be incorporated, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, and I think there's a bigger role of technology as well.
Sure.
When you're doing that, because you can't just create waste out of waste. So they, as you said, they really need to make it into something wonderful, which they can use for longer. And I think we all are working towards it. As faculty members also, we do discuss this. And we really like when guests come and who are so passionate about sustainability and, saving the environment. I think the conversations can keep on going on.
Yes.
But yeah, we are really looking forward, to the workshop tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm sure that all these students, who are keen to know about how design and sustainability can be brought together with a very exciting product, which is swimwear. So really look forward to your participation, and I'm sure that you'll bring more
Whenever
friends.
you guys get your next jobs and get the first vacation, you know who to go to.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Riya. It was so wonderful talking to you.
Lovely talking to you too.
And getting to know so many things, and feel so proud that a company in India is, taking these efforts, pioneering efforts into the field of sustainability.
Yes. And if I can inspire even 10 of you to actively look in this direction, that would be phenomenal. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much on behalf of everyone from Karnavati University and UIT. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Riya, and thanks, Anu, for this conversation, which has been very insightful and educational for all of us. And thank you all for being here. Tomorrow morning, we start at 10:30 in all the multiple venues. So see you then. Have a good evening.